Alright, here are my Glocks, my two Glocks that I own right now. This is my Glock 19 and my Glock 26. I just got my Glock 19 back from Bowie Tactical Concepts in Ohio. And if you don't know who David Bowie is with Bowie Tactical Concepts, his work is featured in a lot of magazines. This is just one example. His M&P Bowie Tactical, he does this kind of work like putting on your red dot sights, grip reductions, texturing trigger jobs, sights, melt jobs, pretty much everything. I mean, he's a pretty well-known and very good gunsmith. So I didn't really know much about him. I mean, I'd seen his work in magazines, but he is an instructor at the Tactical Defense Institute. And while I was there in April doing handguns 1 through 3, I was shooting my Glock 19, and he was watching me like a hawk and noticing that I was having some trouble hanging on to it just because of the grip circumference. And he recommended a grip reduction to me. And the one thing that I really like about David Bowie as far as being able to relate as far as gun issues are concerned is for being a big guy. I mean, he's a big guy, but he's a small guy. It's really kind of one of those optical illusion kind of things. His hands are about that much longer than mine. So he's got really small, and that's kind of, if you hear him talk, I mean, that's how he kind of got a start on his gunsmithing work, is he was trying to make his guns fit his hands. So he would do grip reductions and he would do trigger jobs and stuff like that, and then he just kind of went from there. So, after deciding to go ahead and do it, I left my gun with him, and knowing that he has a really long turnaround time. This took 7 months to get back from him. So I went ahead and left my 19 with him, and I went and bought a 26 to kind of replace it as a carry gun, and I sent it to a local gunsmith to do a grip reduction on it, on this one. Now, I'm going to compare the work, but I'm really not going to compare the work, because we're talking about a local gunsmith who, just kind of does this out of his garage, on the weekends, versus someone who does this for a living. So we're talking about two totally different gunsmiths with two totally different, approaches. I mean, I am very happy with this product. Nothing has gone wrong on it. It's been a very decent gun. It's been a very good carry gun. So while I'm going to compare the work just for general purposes of, how, to look at the differences, I'm not saying that this is bad. This is not bad work, and this is not, oh my God, this is perfect, even though it kind of is. But, just to show you the difference here in some of, in what people can do as far as working on a Glock is concerned. Now, when I got this one, what I asked them to do, I already bought it with the different sights. These are excess sights, so I already bought it, and yes, this is unloaded. So I already bought it with the sights. I had it sent to them, and I had them do a grip reduction and an undercut for the trigger, and then this, magazine release cutout. Now, what gunsmiths do for grip reductions is, anyone who has a Glock knows that the back portion of the Glocks behind the magazine is empty. So what they do is they fill up that spot behind there with some kind of epoxy, and each gunsmith has their own little recipe, what they want to do. And then once it's filled and it's dry, they start shaving off the back of the firearm. So, you can tell on this one, I mean, you can see that they used another substance here. It's a little bit lighter of a color, and, it's kind of painted all the way around here. Like I said, it's not bad. I mean, some people don't like it. Some people think this is absolutely ugly, but hey, it's a Glock. I really don't care. As long as it's functional, there's not much you can do to a Glock to make it more ugly, because to me, I think they're already ugly. So, but you can definitely tell, and this is not that thin. I mean, it's thinner than the original, which I think goes out to about there. But I mean, so it about cut it in half, and it works. It's fine. But how he does this, I don't know, but Bowie managed to get it even thinner. And how he did that without compromising any of the works back here, I don't know. And, you know, maybe that's a trade secret, and, you know, he managed to keep the Glock logo on there, which is pretty cool. And you can see how he got it even thinner. I mean, he got it almost like razor thin. And according to him, he's never had anyone have any problems with it. And, you know, it's just incredible how thin he got this Glock. And the other thing that really impressed me is I have no idea what he used in here. But whatever it is, it looks like Glock material. I mean, if I didn't know any better, and I don't, so I have no idea this is exactly what he could have done. It's like he took a Glock frame, melted it down, and poured it in here, because there just seems to be no difference in material whatsoever. It just feels like Glock frame. You know, on this one you can definitely see and tell that there is a different material back there. Not so with this. It just looks like Glock frame. So that's one, you know, major difference. And of course, let me show this one's unloaded as well. The other thing he did is he did a trigger job. It's hard to show a trigger job on YouTube, so I'm just going to skip that part. He also, this one, he did put new sights on. So he put the, you know, orange front sight and, you know, different rear sight there. And like I said, he did the trigger job. And the other thing he did was he did this undercut under there. You know, another problem I was having was, you know, with the trigger guard the way it was, it's kind of forcing my hand a little bit low. This way I can get my hand just a little bit higher. And how he got this so smooth, it is just like porcelain glass smooth. On this one, I mean, it's pretty much the same texture as the rest of the trigger guard, which is, I mean, it's not rough, but it's not smooth either. So it's, you know, pretty consistent all the way. But in this one, it's just like you come from the trigger guard onto this, you know, recess, and it's just, it's baby bottom smooth right here. And it's the same with all of his work. Like the cutouts here in the magazine well are just super, super smooth. Now, I've had people, you know, I showed this when I showed my 26 a couple of weeks ago, and I you know, people were curious as to what these cutouts are for. If you go to the Tactical Defense Institute and you get some of their gun classes with them, what they teach as far as magazine reloads are concerned is that instead of just hitting the magazine release button and expecting the magazine to drop free all by itself, they teach to actually physically rip the magazine out of the gun. The reason they do that is because a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes if your gun is dirty, you know, if you're not in the perfect angle, you know, whatever, if you hit that magazine release button, your magazine might not fall free. It might get hung up in the gun, especially if you have a stoppage or something and you're actually doing a malfunction drill. You'll hit that button, the magazine will not drop free. Well, then you grab a new magazine, you try to insert it, and then you're stuck fumbling to try and get the magazine out. Well, you already have a magazine in your hand. So what they teach is to just go ahead and get used to, you hit the button, you grab the magazine, you rip it out, and then you stick a new one in. And if the magazine has fallen free before you actually, you know, grab it, all the better. So, but one thing that happens with your modern firearms is they're seated so perfectly into the bottom of the gun that there's nothing really to grab onto. So Bowie had started doing these cutouts in the bottom of the magazine wells to give your fingers a little bit more of a hold on a magazine so you can physically grab that magazine and rip it out. It's especially good if your firearm actually does have a stoppage and your magazine is hung up in your gun. And there's, you know, it's just so easy. You grab your magazine, you rip it out. We did these at home with our own Dremel tool. That was not an option that was advertised by the gunsmith who did this. So this is a home done job for this magazine cutout, but it really is a good, I mean, even if you don't get in the habit of ripping the magazine every single time you do a magazine change, having those cut out there is a really good idea if your magazine sits perfectly under. I mean, some magazines have a little bit more of a lip that you can grab and pull out, but Glocks typically are not one of them. They kind of sit pretty snug underneath of there, and it's nice to have that little lip that you can just stick your fingers in and rip it out. So, you know, and, you know, his texturing job is I really can't do a really good zoom on this, which kind of stinks. But his texturing job is just a really nice, actually it's easier to see the texturing job on this magazine than it is on there, just because it's blown up a little bit. It's real fine. It's a really fine texturing job. I got to shoot his Glock 19 for days 2 and 3, and then the third day it rained the entire day. And so, and on Tactical Concepts, or not Tactical Concepts, I'm sorry, Partner Tactics. When I went back to Partner Tactics, I got to shoot one of his 19s as well. And this texturing really does work when your hands are wet. So does this. I mean, this works very well. Having that little bit of texturing is really nice. So, you know, like I said, this really wasn't meant to compare smithing work. Is just to show you what you can do with, you know, with Glocks that maybe have a little bit too much of a grip, you know, too thick of a grip for someone who's got really small hands like I do, to see what people can do as far as, you know, modifying a Glock. Like I said, I wish I could show you guys the trigger job on this. It's a really nice trigger job. It's nice and crisp and clean and light. This one isn't bad. I can't remember. I don't think I got anything done on this trigger. But two very nice guns. They work really nicely. I haven't gone out and shot this one yet, but I have every confidence that it will work nicely. This one is working pretty good. I think I need to replace the spring on it, though. I've had a couple jams with it. But, you know, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. You know, would you get your Glock done? If you got it done, you know, what kind of things would you get done to it? And I look forward to hearing from you.